Hey all brothers and sisters, my name is Captain Meatshield and welcome back to the build of the Enterprise D. So another issue came along a lot quicker than I expected. Eaglemoss seemed to be kind of trying to make up for all of the kind of later or delayed shipments or whatever, so yeah, just about a week later we've got another issue to do. So issue 7 is here, we've got some new parts. We're going to be expanding on more of the saucer, as well as putting a little bit more onto the frame for the star drive section. So, I've already got assembly stage 23 out, ready to go, so let's get to it. So we're going to be focusing on some more, well, another whole plate piece, but first off, they've sent a replacement cover for our initial battery box. So, I'm going to chuck these batteries in, and we'll get the cover put into place so that we can then use that for testing any lights that we're going to be putting in later on. So that's all secured, all in place. Now we can move on to another hull plate. So with this piece here, we've just got to flip it over, fill some windows in along with some escape hatches, and that's pretty much it. There's just 3 dark windows there, 9 escape hatches, and we're pretty much set. We can just put that straight onto the frame. Again, I'm going about trying to use up some of the spare sprues that I've got at the moment, just because there's still a lot lying around. I mean, like, all of these are just regular size, like, that's 24 spare dark windows. I think I can get away with using these. I'm wondering how many spares I'm going to have by the end of all of this. Like, spare screws, spare windows, spare escape hatches. I don't know, maybe I could go about kit bashing something that's just composed entirely of those. That being said, it wouldn't be a particularly functional starship. Just nothing but windows and escape pods. I don't know, maybe I could make it some like weird miniature Borg cube or something. So now we've got all of those in place, I can go about attaching this onto our frame. So let me go and find that. So this piece is going to be attaching along here. So I'm going to flip her over and get things into place. We've got to kind of somewhat secure this in with a single screw first, because then we need to weave some lights in behind it. So these stickers don't seem to be holding particularly well for all of the cable management. I know one of them had come completely undone when I grabbed this from its little storage location. So what I may do before everything gets sealed in is I might just, I've got some electrical tape here, I might just use that to tie up the wires and keep them nice and organised, because I don't know, I think it might mostly be just because we're in the middle of, you know, British summer is kind of coming around, and it's been getting particularly warm at the moment, so I think the heat might just be, you know, causing problems for the glue. So I'd rather try and secure it with something a little more stable. So I don't know. Well, I'll see how it goes in, you know, coming days and weeks. See how it all holds together. So that's just been gently secured in place there with a single screw. I've got to take these 2 spare bulbs that we had from the last issue and last stage of construction, and they've got to go into these little gaps here on the plate below. So I'm going to weave those in, get some of these other cables out of the way, and fuck off, mate, Jesus. So yeah, I've got to figure out which one's going where. I think I have an idea, and then we can go about testing lights, making sure that things are all working properly. And there we go. Another section of hull plating is in. Everything feels nice and flush. I don't know what's happening with the phaser strip on this one. I don't think we've been sent one in this issue. And I don't think I'm going to be using the one that we were sent last time, so that may have to wait for now. But what we can do, we can test the lights in all this. It's going to be a bit hard to see because it's quite bright in here. Hang on, let me turn off the light and I'll see if we can have a look at it a bit better. Now that looks nice. I do seem to be getting a little bit of bleed through from the escape hatches. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But either way, lights are on. I was also able to see there was a bit of bleed through in the kind of plate lines. So, I don't know, maybe just tightening those up might make it a little bit less noticeable. You can only notice it when you're looking at it from a very certain angle. So maybe it won't be so bad, but even so. I mean, I would think that that's something that you'd be able to just fix with, you know, tightening the screws a little bit more, tightening things a bit closer together. But given some of the issues I've had with parts of this build, you know, overdoing or over-tightening things is not something I really want to go about doing. But now we get to move on to stage 24, where we're going to be going back to the star drive section a little bit. Now, as I mentioned in the last episode, I did manage to fix the gap in here. You can still see there is a little bit of one, but it's much more agreeable than it was. Like, you can just about see through that crack, but honestly, you know, if you don't look at the crack too much, you might not notice that there's an issue. You know, and you shouldn't really go looking around at people's cracks anyway. It's quite rude. But what we need to do is we need to flip this bad boy over, look at the mess of wires that lies beneath, and we've got a new piece of frame that needs to go on here. We're going to start building the neck. So I've got to try and move all of these wires out of the way somehow. It's an absolute state under here, but we struggle onwards. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and hold this out of the way while I get this installed in here, because that's going to kind of hug around the side of the battery box, and then we're going to try and contain all of these wires in the space in the middle. We've got the frame for the other side of this as well, so we will be going around the whole thing, but let me try and find the screws I need and get this fixed into place. And now that that is in place, we've got to take one more screw and we've got to kind of fix it in there so we secure the rest of this back piece in place. So that's holding quite nicely. Doesn't seem to be pulling too much on this section. Get out. Which, you know, I'm quite glad of. I think it's providing a little more tension because it is pulling like this section in a little bit, so that's going to be something to be wary of. But I think overall it's holding all right. The way I did go about fixing this, so the screw holes that we've got in here, I think there was one in here and then one on this side, were the ones that were securing the frame to this back plate. And what I did is I took some of this Evo Stick Strong stuff. It's just a really good adhesive. I used it to fix the battery box when I had the issue with that one. I basically just took a really small flathead screwdriver and used it to fill the cavities with some of the adhesive, let that cure for a little while, and then just re-screwed things back in, so it gave an extra kind of level of, you know, surface for the screws to actually grip onto. And it seems to be holding pretty well. I find that adhesive is pretty good. Once it's fully cured, it's nice and solid. So we can now set that part of the star drive aside for a minute, if I'm not crushing any of the cables there. In fact, I'll put it over this way because we've got another deck plate to do. So we haven't got too much to add on to this one, just a few escape pods and a few windows. This one shouldn't take too long. So give me a moment and I will get that done. In fact, I've just noticed something a bit odd. Let me check that window right here. What's going on with that? Looks like there's some material just stuck in it. I need What do I need? I need something to poke it with. Come here. Yeah. Well, I've cleaned it up a bit. It must have been something that was left over from either the casting process or possibly the painting process. I don't know. But it's been cleaned up as best I can. I just tried to give it a little bit of a scrape with my craft knife. There's another one that looks like it might be a bit icky as well. Alright, I think we might be good. Let me get these bits in. We'll get this one attached to the frame as well. Okay, this is... oh... is done. The same issue is here on where some of the escape pods are. This first one I just can't get in because there's more material in this than there should be. Like, what the fuck is going on with their quality control? Like, is anybody like checking these bits before they go out? Because in trying to get rid of this stuff, I'm starting to scrape the paint off. Fortunately, it's in a place where you're not really going to see it, but I shouldn't be putting myself in that position. Right, you're in. Good. Alright, windows and escape hatches all plugged in. Now we get to work on the reflector panels in two pieces on this one, because it's got quite a curve. So this first one is going to be sitting on this side. And we've got just the one cable, though I do have another wire with a light. I think... yes, that's needed for the other side of this. So, we'll get to that in a moment. Right, so that's all in nice and firm. I'm going to take our second reflector panel. I'm going to put it in over on this side. Get it all lined up with where the screw holes are. That would be great. There we are. And we're going to take the other light from this piece. And we're going to shove it in on this side. And then this other little solitary light that's coming over here. Then we just screw all that together, and job's a good one. There we go. Looking very pretty. Now, I think we get to put this onto the frame. We're going to test the lights first, so let's do that. Yep, I'd say those work great. Looks nice. You flip them over, it's really bloody bright down here. So before I actually get this onto the frame, I've got to try and get these wires to be kind of tucked out of the way, because it might be a bit awkward with getting them on the frame. So that's all kind of tucked away there. Let's go and grab the saucer and see where it goes. So this piece is going to be sitting in along here. These cables just keep wanting to catch on everything. It's infuriating. I've dropped this piece like 3 times. How am I threading this? How am I threading all these wires? You need to go through here. Hopefully neat and tidy. Some way, shape or form. I'll just drag you through like that. This one is going through here. And then we've got to kind of hook this in under these plates, I believe. Kind of yes. Maybe kind of no. Right, yeah, they do need to kind of... they've got a hook under, but they've also got a little lip that needs to... oh, come on, you tricky bitch. Okay, I think what I'm going to have to do is to just start trying to get this thing screwed in. Hopefully it will just fucking sort itself out as we go. I really don't know at this point. Just making it up as I go along. This plate just isn't sitting flush with the rest of the saucer. I don't know what's going on with it. So this is what I've got at the moment. You see this? I can't get it to go any closer than that. Well, I maybe brought the section next to it down too much. Ooh, that could be a thing. But that doesn't really seem to make much sense. Like, why would it allow me to tighten the screws on, like, this plate all the way down towards the frame, whereas this one, it won't. Like, there seems to be more plastic, or more of like a support in, like, underneath the frame for this piece. Because yeah, it's coming down as far as I can get it towards the frame. I really feel like I shouldn't be having this many problems with this bloody thing. I think I've just fucked another thread. I can't even get this one out now. I haven't fucked the thread on the screw, that's fine, so that means I've shredded the metal inside this. Oh, Christ. Alright. I'm going to have to assemble that off camera after the episode, because guess what? It's going to be glue time. I'll have to go about giving you an update on that one in the next video, essentially. Right, next stage, let's go. So stage 25, we've got another part of the neck frame. We're going to save that for later. We've got another whole plate to go and do. So hopefully we're not going to have any issues with this one, though I am seeing some little loose kind of, well, you're not really, you might just about see it, some loose little scraggly bits of plastic, so I've got to tidy those up before I can do anything else. I feel like this build is getting to the point where it's starting to feel less like fun. And I don't mean that I'm not enjoying actually putting it all together. I am enjoying that much. It's the continuing problems we're having from issue to issue. There's... oh, fuck, where did that go? Engineering, I've lost one of the escape hatches. What do you mean the sensors aren't working? Well, I know they haven't sent them yet. That's probably going to be like issue 420. You're right. Nice. Good job I've got spares. But yeah, the biggest gripes that I've got with this so far have just been the quality on some of these pieces. I mean, this part of hull plating is plastic, and this section here is exceedingly slim. That is some very fucking focus camera, come on. That is some exceedingly thin plastic, and I'm incredibly worried that that's going to snap. But overall, you know, putting this thing together is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying seeing it like kind of grow issue by issue. You know, it's slowly turning into something that more and more resembles a Galaxy-class starship, and it's awesome. I just wish that, you know, I wasn't having all these issues with it. And I know that I'm not the only one. That's the thing. If it was just me, I could put it down to my botching stuff all the time. But it's not. I know it's happening to other people who are far more experienced with making kits like these. You know, when it's affecting a group that wide, with, you know, even more experience, then, you know, maybe they should turn around, look at themselves and go, oh, maybe we should have fixed that. Or maybe we should not have done it in the first fucking place. Something sheer fucking hubris, I don't know. Oh, you little fuck. Where's that gone? One of the windows was loose before I finished securing things in, and now it's just gone. Can I just feed another one in under here? I'm gonna give it a go. No, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to take the whole fucking thing off. Which gives me an even greater chance of fucking up the plastic with the screws, because I might ruin the threads again. Ooh, I like this. This is a great part of the build. And now I can't even get the fucking reflector panel off. And all the fucking windows fell out when I did. Sorry. I'm getting a bit riled up with all this, but it's frustrating. Alright, now for the love of Q, please tell me I've done this right. I think I have. I got some of my own hair trapped in it, but that's fine. Alright, cool. I'm good with that bit. Let's move on to the next. Oh, wait. Lights. Give me a second. Boom. Done. Fantastic. Let's move on. So now we've got to put the other half of the neck frame in. And I've got to try and wiggle around some of these wires. This light also has to go in a little bit at the front of this, so let me try and tidy some of this up. Right, the wires have been nicely contained. I've got to go about fixing this together now, while keeping all of the wires nice and tucked away. So this is where things are going to get interesting. I'm going to try and get these in a little bit so that I can actually take my hand away from the neck. And I mean, the main reason that I'm holding it like this anyway is because I'm trying to hold the light in place that's been wedged into the front of the neck, that spare one that we had from last week. Because I don't want that to shift at all. And if I take one of these AM screws, I can actually fuse or screw these two bits of frame together, so it will hold that better. But trying to open all this stuff with just a single hand is a bit of a problem. I feel like I'm moaning more than is necessary, but honestly, like the issues with the issues that we've had recently have not been making me feel great about this build, especially when you consider the cost of it. You know, if this was something that cost me maybe a couple £100, I could understand it being, you know, not kind of stellar quality. You know, a couple of £100 is still a lot to pay, but for something this scale and kind of, you know, technicality to it, I could understand, you know, to experience a drop in quality. But you know, you consider that going for the cheapest option on the subscription for this thing is still going to be costing well over £1,000. That's a lot of money for something that feels like, I mean, the quality of the materials is great, you know. The metal feels nice. I could take or leave the plastic. The lighting is all nice. You know, I'm having fun putting all that together. But yeah, it's just those little gripes of, you know, screws ruining all the threading and bits not lining up properly. Like, for something that costs this much, I feel like I shouldn't be having these issues. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. Like, we shouldn't be having to go and finding fixes for this stuff ourselves. That's for fucking sure. The amount I swear they could put me in an episode of Discovery or Picard. But there we go. I have now got the neck frame pretty much built. Got some interesting little kind of struts down here. I'm sure that's going to kind of help support things as we build like the space with the deflector dish along the engineering hull. But yeah, that's not going to quite stand up by itself or anything, but it's almost got legs. And last but not least, we've got one more bit of deck plating to build. So I've got another ton of lights to do. I just spotted this little bit here in the corner, and I was mildly concerned that like that had been chipped off or something, but no, looking at the instructions, that's actually meant to be like that, so that's fine. I think I'm getting myself overly concerned just for how this issue has gone so far. I'm panicking about just everything. Alright, that last piece of saucer is done, it's on. I can't even be bothered to test the lights. I'm just done with this issue. I'm frustrated that this piece of saucer hasn't gone in, but you know, it's been built. I've just got to fucking fix it. But yeah, that's what we've got for this issue. Between episodes, I will try to fix up the plate that I messed up with, and I'll see if I can get it to actually sit on the frame, which would be nice. But yeah, these problems are continuing to persist. I'm not particularly happy with them, so much so that I'm forgetting how to actually enunciate my words, which is very unbecoming of a Starfleet captain. So I'm going to wrap this video up here, just say thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and shared in my frustrations, please do go and check out the playlist on the channel for Let's Plays, metal covers, more Star Trek content. And if you enjoyed this video, or want to leave some comment or critique on things, preferably not, like, negative stuff, I'm already feeling sour enough, then do leave a like or a comment, just leave your thoughts, and, yeah. Just something else, like Patreon, all that kind of stuff, I don't know. Thanks for watching this video, I'm going to go, bye.